I like to say that I was born with a passion for plants because I can't remember anything else. My name is Andrew Wyatt, and I'm the Vice President of Programs and Collections and Assistant Director of the Santa Barbara Botanic Garden. I've really loved working with the staff at the garden, and I've got a lot out of working with lots of the individuals here and working as a team to forward the mission of the garden. I'm really proud of the work that I've done on the irrigation system and getting as much of the garden on the new irrigation system as we have done. The garden's irrigation system was basically falling to pieces, and now we have about 65% of the garden covered in a brand new functioning irrigation system. I've enjoyed pretty much everything that I've done at the garden, and I really like getting into projects and kind of getting stuck in and doing a lot of work with them. One of my favourite groups of California plants, and partly because I'd only worked with a few of them when I first came out here, was the group of the Eriogonum. And what's amazing is it's really shows really extreme diversity. You can see the Eriogonum fasciculatum here versus Eriogonum giganteum. I could keep listing plants because I'm the type of person that kind of gets interested in the plant, and then I kind of see another plant and I'm going, wow, that's great. And so I love nearly every plant that I've ever encountered, basically. So. I think when the garden comes into full flower with all the annuals, it really is a sight to behold. The colours in the landscape on a wide scale, together with the backdrop of the mountains, it's just stunning in the spring. It's quite amazing this time of year. A lot of energy. East Ridge at the garden on the Porter Trail, that's always been one of my favourite sections of the garden just because of the panoramic views of the ocean, and it's a little drier environment up there, and you get some fantastic views. You can't beat, if you're stressed and you're kind of thinking to calm down, the redwood section is always a good place to go and sit and kind of ponder because that little environment is very calming environment, and you can see the effect of, beyond the the effect of science on plants, you can see the effect of the plants have on people emotionally, and you can really see that in the redwood section. When you enter the redwood section, you can sit down and go so for calm and quietness, the redwood section, you can't be beat. When I first came to the garden, I'd read about Mission Creek, so I knew it had a creek going through it, but you really don't realize how spectacular it is until you come to the edge of the canyon and you're like, wow, it's quite an amazing sight. It's always got a lot of excitement when a lot of water's coming down and there's big boulders moving around. So the riparian corridor of the garden is really a dynamic feature of the garden as well, and also an excellent educational feature of the garden. The history of the dam on its own is quite amazing, and that's what makes the Botanic Garden even richer, is these other historic features like the dam itself, because it's really of interest, and it really tells the story of water use here in California from the very early settlement right up till today. California is has an amazing flora, and I think everyone has the responsibility to try and conserve as much as they can. Really, one of our key goals at the garden here needs to be to explain to people what they can do in their everyday lives to conserve plants, making that link between how we live as individuals and the effect it has on our environment. One thing that about the human spirit and the love for the garden here that will always stick with me is that people kind of picked up whatever they had, and they went at it, and we cleaned the garden very quickly, and it was due to the sheer will and dedication of the staff that really brought the garden back and caused a lot less damage than could have happened after the Hasty Cedar fire.